thing here. All right. Ta-da! Here we are. Joseph and Angela. Magic and wisdom of essential oils.
Live from Be Connected.
I know. And here we are. Oh, has it been a month already? I can't even believe it.
It's been a month of Saturdays.
Wow. Wow. Here we are.
Yes,
And
indeed.
it's trying to roll into spring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spring and our wood element. And yeah, what do we got to talk about today? What
Oh,
tongue in
just magic and wisdom. And I really
cheek?
think we got two oils for this that are perfect, if you will. Not like
Mm-hmm.
they're all perfect at the moment that we're using them, if you will. But there is a lot of magic with Laurel. All right. And there is a lot of wisdom with Helichrysum. And it's not
Yes.
that Helichrysum doesn't have its own magic and that Laurel doesn't have its own wisdom, but very interesting.
Yeah. So if you are watching this and you want to go grab your oils, grab some laurel and some helichrysum. And what do we have those diluted at today?
I got Laurel at the 25 to 50. And I'm being a spoiled brat. I've got Helichrysum Italicum from Corsica at 100%, no dilution.
What are
Yeah.
you going to do with that? Okay. Well, I've got
Can I
my
tell?
Corsican helichrysum 15% in jojoba.
Oh,
I
that's
can't
right.
even imagine how yours smells. Well, I have to have some of that.
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll figure that out. Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's
Can I
talk
tell the
about.
story?
Oh, you want to tell the story of your helichrysum?
I want to tell the story of my Helichrysum. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. It has its own
Joseph
magic.
is going to tell the story about his helichrysum. Is it a magical story?
It's a magical story.
Okay.
And I think I'm trying to tell it wisely. Um, so, I usually sleep pretty dang good. Okay. I'm not exactly a bear, but I haven't really given up on hibernation either. And this is about 3 weeks ago. I pop up at 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm like, what the? And it's not like pop up 20% or pop up 30%. It's like 150%. Like the mind is moving. Um, and it's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? So I did what you should almost never do is I opened my email. And there was an email from David Crow. Now, David Crow is an acupuncturist. He had a company, Floricopia, selling essential oils and hydrosols. Um, Last year, he sold that off. Okay. And he is one of those people, he goes around the world and tries to find the best of something and then get that and sell that for a limited supply until it's out. Right. And he's been a huge champion of Corsican Helichrysum because of the sweetness of the soil of Corsica, right? So I bought like grams from him in the tiny little bottles and stuff like that, with a little one drop at a time thing, and for 90, 120, okay, for the Corsican, wild harvested, did all sorts of different stuff. He's that kind of artisanal, all right. So the email, though, anyway, he's cleaning out his backstock because he sold the company and he's got all of this Helichrysum and Vetiver and a few others. And I just go, well, that's why I'm opening the email. And for a 2-ounce bottle of Corsican Helichrysum. Now, I know that one of the major multi-level companies is got Corsican Helichrysum for 121 for 5 mil. Okay, a 2-ounce bottle is, let's see, 15, 30, that's 60 mil. So that's 12 of them in here. And this was $70 plus all the, I know. So, yeah. So I'm kind of, that's kind of the strange, proud consumer shopper. Like I got it, but also I got it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
So I imagine there's going to be some amazing product that you're going to offer with this helichrysum in it, or something.
No, I'm keeping it all to myself.
But the world can't heal unless you share.
Okay. Dang you, Angela. No, I've already been, making formulas for people and stuff. And I, you know this. I often use frankincense and helichrysum together. Has sort of a buffer, good for microcirculation, good for reducing allergy reactions, all sorts of stuff like that. So, and this is Corsican. So I'm just wondering, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to make probably like a meditation oil or a
I
prayer
was just
oil.
gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
The minute you said that, I'm like, that has to be meditated with.
Yeah, I've been meditating with it on CV17. And I don't really have much of a quiet mind. All right. But it gets me there. And for me not to be talking internally to myself, that's different. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I might just have to send some to my friend up in Oregon. See ya, see. Send me a copy of a fish print and all.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. That's some pretty powerful stuff. So how fortunate that was a real abundance for you.
Yeah, it works for insomnia too. It woke me up to tell me how well it would work for insomnia.
Well, helichrysum has a whole bunch of different names, though. We've heard it as everlasting, immortal. Um, it has this regal presence, I think, throughout history. And that's why I use it really. I mean, I use it for wound healing. If I can share a story about my youngest son, he was really badly burned he actually fell into a bonfire. And so he had 20% of his body was third-degree burns. So they did skin grafts. They took skin off of his thighs to put on his arm and his flank. And so when they sent him back home from the burn center, we started a mixture of helichrysum hydrosol with a little bit of aloe in it and some lavender and some helichrysum oil. And we would just, when we took the dressing off, we would just spritz that, just gently spritz it, apply the dressing. Later, when he could shower and have, water on it, we would still spritz that. And then it ended up being like almost like a healing lotion that went on that had the helichrysum in it and some frankincense as well. I mean, he was doing a lot of other things, protein shakes and things that he could do internally, collagen and things like that. But he went back to his surgeon at the 3-month mark post-surgery. The surgeon had to look through his chart. He said, "When did I do this?"
Yeah.
Because his skin was healed to that of 6 months post-surgery. And his skin grafts took 99%, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we attributed helichrysum to a lot of that healing.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've got an amazing story also. Long-term patient, back pain, and then hernia, where actually the intestinal contents had gone through the hiatal hernia up. And she had multiple surgeries and meshes, and the meshes failed and all that sort of stuff. And I worked with her years before, like the last surgery, and for back pain, and helped a lot. And then I didn't hear from her. And then all of a sudden I get a call, and it's like, I have an infection. I have MRSA. It's not going away. It hasn't closed. The wound hasn't closed in over a year. She said, "I'm going to either see you or commit suicide. Which should I do?" So I'm like, "Well, okay, call me. Let's go." And we did a frankincense hydrosol and a helichrysum hydrosol. Bumped both of them. The helichrysum hydrosol was mostly to help the wound had been bandaged and rebandaged and bandaged and rebandaged so many times. Her skin was completely having sensitivity reactions to the tape.
Yeah.
what was holding the bandage there. And they would measure, they would put a little stick into the wound to see how deep it was, clean it out. It was, um, anyway, I sent her home with the hydrosols. The one that went inside had both lemon tea tree and regular melaleuca, and then some helichrysum and then some frankincense. You can see where this started, the frankincense and helichrysum thing.
Yes.
Okay, and then the hydrosol on the outside was more bumped with the helichrysum. We got her closed in 6 weeks. Okay, she was out of the MRSA window in 4 weeks. Okay, the wound care specialist at Kaiser, Northern California, called me up and said, "What the hell did you do? Come in and explain it to me."
Do some
So
splaining to the Western
yeah,
medicine.
what was great about it is when I went in and saw her, she pulled out the bandages that are impregnated with manuka honey. That you can cut them and paste them to the size of the wound. And so she turned me on to that form of essential oils and honey. All right. And I've just been treating really, really bad burn scars on the wrist here. And it doesn't look like, I'm going to knock on wood, it doesn't look like it, really thin skin. Yes. And
Yeah.
it doesn't look like we're going to have a noticeable scar, which totally blows my mind. Okay. And it's been the helichrysum hydrosol. Okay, make sure everything's clean. I actually use the last bit of the hydrosol to kind of clean the wound. One more, put down the honey, the clear tape over it. When the woman looked at it the first time after she finally let it close for 3 days, she kept trying to look at it. Okay, and I had to convince her, don't look at it. Right? She was in tears because her skin looked like normal. So, yeah.
It's amazing.
David Crow, he uses a term, it translates as a wish-fulfilling gem, okay? And so this is a term from the Hindu and the Buddhist lineages in India, all right? And it's wish-fulfilling gem, something that will make you rich, make you romance, heal you, especially for those things that are very hard to heal. And it was like, I took it with a grain of salt. I took it with a dash of tamari. I'll admit it. Okay. But then when you watch it work, like with your son, and
See that skin changing like just every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I also think about the plant itself. It is from the Asteraceae family, botanical
uh,
family. We're talking about Helichrysum italicum. There is also a Helichrysum angustifolium, which angustifolium, that makes me think of lavender, so um, it it grows it's native to the Mediterranean, so it's growing in these formidable dry conditions where it's really, it has to to go deep to get some moisture, and so it's learned to protect itself. It learns to go deep for what it needs, and I think of that sort of metaphysically when I'm working with helichrysum on really deep wounds, deep
mhm,
personal wounds,
yeah.
wounds of the heart, and how it goes in there and finds where the heart needs to be mended, finds where skin needs to be mended, and just does its magic.
Mm,
And that to me is, we're working with the innate nature of the plant. And
right.
that's really exciting when we
Yeah.
can have this relationship with the plant, and it's going to offer all of its magic and wisdom and show us to a path of healing. That's very powerful and very special.
In a country level, if you will, or planetary level, um, Original Swiss Aromatics has the helichrysum I usually get is from Bosnia Herzegovina. All right. And helichrysum grows well in disturbed soil. Okay. So beside the fields where the farmers plowed, okay, that disturbed soil on the edges, it really thrives. It goes in there and grows. All right? In Bosnia and Herzegovina, because of the war and the mines buried in the ground, okay, there's a lot of disturbed soil, right? And so some of the people that are growing it in areas that have been reclaimed from being war zone, coming back into being a productive agrarian field, okay, or a farm. And that healing of the soil, I like your term there. It's a very deeply rooted healing of the land and the wounds on the scars on the land, the
Mhm.
softening and making them whole again.
Mhm.
You know, um, yeah,
And those little flowers, if you cut helichrysum and you let it dry, as a dried herb, those little flowers stay yellow forever. It's just amazing. It's like one
immortal.
look. Yeah, yeah, immortal. Yeah. Um, some of the
Mm,
folk history, it was used medicinally, but prior to the early 1980s, helichrysum was not found in essential oil catalogs.
yeah.
It was Pierre Francrome and Daniel Peniol. They were credited for popularizing this oil in the United States. So they brought it here and introduced us to it. And I found it. I was curious to know, like, how did they really use it in folklore? Did they steep it? Did they use it as compresses? Did they make a decoction of tea and maybe use compresses for healing wounds? That seemed to be, like if it before it was an essential oil. It's also used to treat respiratory conditions. Anything that's mucolytic will help. It'll dry it out. So again, reflecting that Mediterranean or that arid climate that it grows in. Uh, it's an expectorant and an antispasmodic, so it's useful for sinus infections, bronchitis, any like spasmodic coughing.
Hmm.
I think of it a little as that too, but my go-to is as a first aid oil. You know,
Hmm.
uh, that's the way I think of it as. Um,
If you're a little adventurous and you're gonna take a good dilution of it, because of its microcirculation enhancements, very good for blood flow. It seems to be very useful in helping heal livers, of all things, the actual organ thereof. Um, I would definitely be putting it into, a dilution of some sort of a carrier oil that had some, calorific benefit to it, some nutritional benefit, maybe like an olive oil. There's a Mediterranean one to you, and we're getting closer to Laurel as we speak.
mhm. I've had it for working with the liver. I've done it uh, with some of the women in the Menopause Success Program in detoxifying the liver, using it with castor oil as castor oil packs over the
Hmm.
liver and applying like a heat pad. Yeah, that's been beneficial. I had a couple of clients who had little basal cell cancer removed from their face, and they were using it just diluted in a sort of like this little roll on. And
Hmm.
they were like, I can't believe this like healed up so quickly, and there's no scar, and so that I'll get a call every once in a while. So and so said I should come to you after I had this skin tag removed. I'm like, okay.
I didn't know that that was on my resume. Tag, you're it. Sorry.
Medicine. Right. Oh, what else do we want to say about helichrysum other than, how about doing something about the chakras? Because I'm always, about the energy fields of the body. So, third eye, of course, right?
Hmm.
Heart. And I think that there's some benefit in the sacral chakra,
Hmm.
where we have our sense of creativity, our
Well,
sensuality, and just
and
I
there's
think
plenty enough there's plenty
there's a
enough wounding to go around there too, right?
yes, yes. So uh, it helps realign this natural order because we've got third eye, heart, and sacral. So we've got pretty much everything covered from top to bottom, right? And
Mhm.
everything in between. So, there's this connecting the heavens and the earth with this oil. And
Yeah.
and I do think of it, when we think of immortal, and there is a heavenly quality to it, but there's this earthiness as it reaches down into the earth to find its
Yeah.
healing. So I
Well,
love the term that you use, that wish fulfilling gem.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, Heli is Helios, as in sun, right?
Mhm,
And it's in the sunflower family, the Asteraceae.
mhm,
Um, there, one of the things I'm struck by is it's introduced as an essential oil relatively recently, like the last 50 years, right? In that ballpark. And um, medicines come to us or come of age or are introduced at the times they are needed. It's the doctrine of signatures over a calendar or over a century. Um, when the wound arises, the medicine for the wound arises. Um,
mhm.
and for me, this period of time it's coming into is we're dealing more with ancestral wounds. I was talking earlier about the wounds of war. Um, the emotional wounds, those old ones. For any individual, an old wound is more than a couple years old, but also this. I mean, Bosnia Herzegovina is an ancient wound feud. Okay, that's been overpacked with all sorts of politics and money and all that sort of stuff, but it's an old wound, and the fact that it's one of the prime places to grow helichrysum, and that helichrysum is coming more and more to the humanity, to the market,
Mhm.
as a wound healer.
And aren't
Um,
we seeing a place in the world now that has suffered centuries of strife, religious strife, political strife, and
right. Oh,
we're seeing this pattern come up again. And now we have an oil that energetically can really start to help that healing process begin.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
how do we do that? How do we bring this into modern times? Here we are. We're This is all about the magic and wisdom, but how do we bring helichrysum into our modern times and be able to use it for healing that ancient wound?
Right.
What point do you think would be our best point, Joseph, to do our helichrysum today?
Well, kind of, we're still in springtime, right? We're not even to the official first day of spring, quote unquote. Um, I, you know, emotionally, I'm going to go to CV17 9 times out of 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
In an embodied sense, gallbladder 34 and gallbladder 40 both really speak to me. Um, I might use like the gallbladder alarm point right over that gallbladder, and then 34 because it's easy to reach. You know,
Yep.
um, there it is,
34.
right there.
Right, right there. I have
Got a card
40.
for it. I love it. Um,
I didn't grab 40. I
you
should
know,
grab
as you
40.
as you and I shared in the alarm points program. All right, you put the hand over the liver and gallbladder. You put the oil diluted on a finger, and you go ahead and hit gallbladder 34 on one side, then on the other side, and then maybe sit back on the first side for a while and let them do the magic.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, as an embodied experience. I love that. And I'm always a big proponent of, when I'm doing a point, I like to have not only an intention, but sometimes an affirmation that takes me through that, to sort of signed, sealed, and delivered,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you will,
Yeah.
without getting musical.
Yeah.
This is what I love about doing these shows with you, because we get to be quirky at the same time.
I think
But
the thing we cannot not do. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's the thing we cannot not do. You are absolutely right. But having that intention, first of all, when we place a
Hmm.
hand or when we place a finger on a point, and just having an intention, like, or an affirmation. What am I really doing this point for?
Mhm.
Do I want to focus on world peace? Do I want to focus on sending the energy out that can heal a wound for a friend, a family, a community, a nation? Um, these things ripple out into the cosmos.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that's magic,
Well,
and that's what we do here. So I know it's to some of the people that might be on here, we're like, "Mm, that's kind of woo woo. I don't know if I can really grasp that." But we are all made of energy, and that energy travels in every direction, inward, outward, around. And our intentions, our affirmations, our rituals, our practices go out and affect everything else that we come in contact with, whether we
yeah.
see it or whether we don't. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that because that's why we do these shows. That's why I do my learning circles. It's why we teach because we want that ripple effect out there.
Yeah. Well, the I think it's Joni Mitchell and then Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. We are stardust. We are golden. We are billion-year-old carbon, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden.
Yes, we do.
You know, and the golden color of Helichrysum is just right there with it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All
Ah.
right.
Okay, woo woo. Okay, woo woo. Okay.
Woo woo. Oh, are we ready to switch over to Laurel?
Well, that's just more woo woo. Sure.
I know. So I have to show everybody. I went out in the rain this morning and I got my laurel. This is the laurel that grows here, and I made my little wreath. I suppose I could um, be a laureate and wear it. What do you
I
think,
love
Joseph?
it.
I will keep it on while we talk about
You remember
laurel.
those commercials? It's not polite to fool Mother Nature. You got it. I'm not fooling you.
I do have some laurel leaves that I found in the kitchen in the cupboard, but I kind of like my fresh ones. You can keep
Hmm.
fresh bay laurel in the refrigerator and use it. You don't have to dry it, and it holds really nice in there. I had one more thing. Oh, I have this really cute little deck. It's called Herbs and Medicinal Plants, and I really love this little card deck. They're
Hmm.
called college cards. Isn't that fun? The Academy of Natural Sciences, and they're little tiny cards. And they have the laurel card here, which I'm trying to get it without any glare. So is a really beautiful. Each card has a beautiful botanical rendition of this, and you can see right here the little berry that it produces, little blackberries. And actually, we had some laurel in the neighborhood already that's blossoming, and it comes with the laurel here comes with a bigger stem uh, with white flowers. It is so fragrant. I really love it. We walked to the end of our street, and there's huge, like a whole, I don't know, 40 feet by 20 feet of this laurel, and it just smells so nice. So I just wanted to share that with you. Oh, laurel. I mean, there's so much on the history and folklore of laurel.
Can I go a little woo woo on that?
Yeah, go a little woo woo here. I'll
Okay.
jump in once in a while.
You know Reiki, right?
Yes.
At the bottom of that character, there's two lines with a connecting line in between, and then two little stick figure humans. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That by itself is woo. Okay. Which means witch. Okay. Or shamaness. It's female. If you're going to talk
Mhm.
about a man, you have to say non woo. Okay. So there's a difference. All right. And in Reiki, it's those people that are bringing the rain. Okay. That they're calling out to the sky and bringing the moisture to them. Okay, because they're doing a rain dance. They need the rain.
Mm-hmm.
So it, if you get, there's another character in Chinese that's the number 5, and it's also Wu. So when you say woo woo, you're saying 5 witches. Okay.
That's funny. When I was doing some of the research last week on Laurel, I found a site called Wikipedia.
Okay.
And Wikipedia has all kinds of things about different herbs and folklore. It cracked me up. Wikipedia.
Yeah. Which is that?
Wikipedia.
Well,
So,
that
base laurel, it has this symbol of wisdom, and that's both acquired and intuitive.
right.
So, I think that's really interesting.
Within the Greek tradition, right? The oracle at Delphi,
Yes.
the wealthy and the to-do people of Athens would make the trek to Delphi to listen to the oracle and to get the gases that are coming out of the cave. And that cave opens into a laurel grove. Okay. And the women that tend the cave and that are the oracular voice, that do the prognostications or tell the stories to the question of the elite of Athens, okay, they're definitely woo-woo, okay? They're going into trance, and their trance is induced by, more than likely, bay laurel in its camphoraceous and kind of consciousness opening vapors.
And they chewed the leaves to put them in that state.
Yeah.
They would do that before they did these prophetic, the prophecies that they were telling. There's that classical legend of Daphne's transformation into the laurel tree during her pursuit of Apollo in mythology. The versions vary, but one infers that the nymph Daphne was a fiercely independent, rather wild creature. And rather than give herself to Apollo, she pleaded with her father, the river god Ladonis, to transform her. And another account indicated that Apollo was wounded by an arrow of Eros, which is Cupid, and fell madly in love with Daphne, who fled from his advances and was changed into the slender bay laurel moments before her capture.
Yeah.
So lots of fodder for poets and musicians, but the bay laurel was first an herb of poets, but also oracles, warriors, statesmen, and doctors. So if we break down the word, it derives from the Celtic word lar, which means green, and the Latin word nobilis, signifying noble. Baccalaureate is from the Latin for laurel berries, which were given to Greek students in the classical period. So bay is a narcotic and a stimulant in large amounts. So it was important part of these Delphic rites. Apollo's priestesses chewed bay before prophesying. Later, even placing bay leaves beneath pillows was thought to bring special dreams. So,
Angela?
Yeah.
I would say with what you've got on your head, start with one of the smaller leaves and maybe break it in half before you start chewing, okay?
Exactly. I might just take my bay leaves and make a tea. It's good for headaches. Let's see. It has such a rich history. It was used as a tea. It's an anti-rheumatic. It was used in coordination with garlic for protection from epidemics, those kinds of things. It's good, keeps poisonous and venomous creatures away. And the berries can be rubbed on sprains or used as ear drops.
Right.
Again, a Mediterranean herb, grows in the Middle East, but it was introduced in cuisine, not just in the Mediterranean, but Middle Eastern and also Chinese cuisine used bay laurel. So it has a rich history as a kitchen herb. But didn't they, before we knew a lot of the medicinal qualities of these plants, it was used in cooking. It was used in teas. It was, part of everyday life for people. It is also part of this Lauracea family, botanically. And there's the California Bay, uh, which is, common names, California laurel, pepperwood, bay tree, and which I didn't know until I did my research, the Oregon myrtle is part of that family.
Hmm.
So,
Myrtleacea. Yeah.
yeah, Lauracea. So, and some of them are poisonous as well. So, it currently comes from several areas: Albania, Spain, Turkey, and Bosnia. So, we're still in that same range that Helichrysum is coming from.
Hmm.
Um, and believe it or not, bay laurel is considered a threatened plant. Not
Really?
endangered, but considered a threatened plant.
Oh, uh, reduction of habitat, reduction of space. Yeah.
Exactly. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in oak woodlands and then crevices and creeks with bay laurel all over the place.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely, a Mediterranean landscape with these little creekettes and rivulets, um, and all sorts of bay roots that you could trip over if you were running too fast. Yeah.
Interesting also fact that it is a plant that has either male or female flowers. So they're star shaped and they are on separate plants. The male and female are on separate plants. So this means that only one sex is to be found on any plant. So both male and female plants must be grown if seed is required. It is pollinated by bees, so it's not self-fertilizing. So we
Right.
need our pollinators to keep this plant going. Could be part of the reason why it is a little bit uh, on the watch list for
Hmm.
um, so interesting. Yeah. So I would suggest everybody get some bay laurel and like make a tea or something, or just open up your laurel. And what kind of fragrance profile do we have, Joseph? What kind of energy is
Well,
laurel?
the first thing that hits me is the camphoraceous. Like my eyes are open, the phlegm in
Mhm.
my brain is much reduced. I can think more clearly.
Yes. Mm. It's definitely feels like that spring energy of coming up, moving up and
Yeah.
out, lifting, dispersing, clarifying. Mm.
Yeah.
Your
I
eyes
mean,
look brighter.
yeah. Well, and I can feel the paranasal sinuses going. The
Yeah,
sinuses up here are going.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good though. So
Mhm.
anytime you wake up and you feel a little foggy, groggy in the morning, that you're still feeling that hibernation of the winter time and you're not, oh, I don't want to do spring today. Grab your laurel and just take a few breaths and go, oh yeah, it is spring. It is that energy of rising. Yeah.
I love that little voice. I don't want to do spring today. I want to stay under my covers.
Exactly. Exactly. My
Yeah.
dog was like that yesterday. She's like, "Really? Can't we just?" There's a term I think it's a Scottish term or maybe Irish. It's called herkle durkle. It's when you stay in bed longer than you should. And she looked at me like, "Can't we just herkle durkle?"
Just a little more. Just a little more.
Just a little.
I mean, it is literally an eye opener. Okay. I'm not going to put
Yes.
it anywhere near my eyes, but it's like, mm, yeah.
Mhm. Well, which wouldn't that be great to use on the gallbladder channel because gallbladder starts right there, wraps around, comes down, and yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. The gallbladder really messes up your hair. Okay.
Well, even if you did some laurel on your fingertips and did sort of this little massage around that gallbladder meridian that goes around the ear and from the eye here and goes around, that'd be kind of cool.
Actually, get some hair gel, put some laurel in it, and kind of just work it in there. You really
I
know
did
exactly what the gallbladder is.
I did a class the other night with a colleague, and she was doing face yoga, and we were using rosemary, but you could use laurel too. And we did some really fun face yoga for like a whole 45 minutes. It was so great. I thought, oh, that was good wood element. That was waking things up. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Face yoga, laurel crowns. We're all over the place today.
Well, and another, if you are hiking through a laurel forest and you trip and fall, you get a sprained ankle. Okay. Gallbladder 40 is the other point I was mentioning with gallbladder 34. It's right there, quote unquote, the sprained ankle point. All right. And if you're in a laurel forest, you got some laurel with you. Okay. You just have to be careful as you stand up on that sprained ankle. Pick one leaf. Okay. Break it up a little bit and put some down there.
Mhm. Put your
And
sock over it. Keep going.
put your best foot forward.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Wonderful.
The it's interesting because it's like um, there's something about the two of these, Helichrysum and Laurel. They're simpatico and they're very different at the same time.
Mhm. I'm going to take mine and I'm going to waft both of them under my nose together. See what kind of fun things we can.
We're going woo woo. I can tell
We
we're
are.
going woo woo.
No, it's ooh, I want your impression first because I have an impression here. Mm. I wish we had smell-o-vision.
Totally. I think Be Connected can do that. I think they can. There's just a little button on the side there, smell-o-vision.
It's a pop-up, scratch and
Mm,
sniff.
yeah.
There is, you get the pungency of that floral, but then there's this, the helichrysum comes in and sort of says it tethers it. Oh, is
Hmm.
that can I use that word? Can you feel that?
Yeah.
It tethers that laurel a little bit
It
to stay there and linger.
sweetens it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's an entwining. Mm, yeah. Yeah, that feels really good. Nice. Well, you wanna show us some points? Do a little.
We can do that. You got a card for Gallbladder 40?
Oh, I couldn't find it. I don't
Yeah.
know what I did with
Maybe
it.
I'm gonna
I had it and didn't have it.
stay tuned. Okay. If I fall over, you'll know. Okay.
Ah! Oh, here. I have it on my little.
Oh, perfection. Like I
Let's see it.
said,
It's
putting
here.
your best foot forward once again.
It is. My little best foot forward.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
I don't wanna go.
it's a there. This is called wilderness mound. That's the translation, and it's a wilderness burial mound. Like you were hiking and you found some ruins that were the trees were growing all through the ruins, and then you start noticing that there's shapes and there might be hillocks and humps and like places you could trip because
Yeah.
there's vines and such growing and those bay laurel roots or the laurel roots. So lateral side of the ankle, in front of,
It's
and
spontaneous.
anterior and inferior to the lateral malleolus. I think I even said that correctly.
Yep. So I'm
And
I'm putting the malleolus here.
yep.
More. I'm gonna go
And
forward.
that foot has a really big toe. That's all I can say. Okay.
Like that.
Yeah. It's an interesting point because when teaching people this, people instinctively go here when they have a sprained ankle. They just kind of rub there. Okay.
Mhm.
And I have seen people stack down concrete steps. Okay. Like they were coming down 4 concrete steps and they missed the second one and and it's like, oh my God, I'm seeing their ankle. Okay. This was it was a concert. We were outside and I ran to the woman. I was, get stable. You're calm. You're going to be okay. A woman came over with 2 silver balls with little chimes inside, like, the Chinese medicine balls, and was doing this little magical movement all around her ankle. I'm going, okay, good, good. I'll take it. And held the points. We, stabilized her in about 3-4 minutes, and she got up and walked away.
Oh, that's
You know?
great.
Yeah, if I had known about Laurel at that time, I would have looked for a treatment. Now, it just the point
Let's
itself.
do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I want you to take one of those leaves and do it. No. Yeah. They do. I said I used the word simpatico. It's one of my favorite words in Spanish. Okay, they blend well together, and they're very different characters. They have a camphoraceousness or an opening to them both. The the Helichrysum, especially the Corsican, it's much softer. The Laurel for me really leads with that camphoraceous, like it's gonna pop your eyes open, and you don't want too much of it in your eyes; they might sting, kind of thing. Um, yeah.
So delicious. Yeah. There was a little bit of an energizing quality on that point for me too, I think. It felt.
Hmm.
I'm curious to see how gallbladder 34 would feel.
Hmm. With like Laurel, gallbladder 34 is like a runner getting ready for a race.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's our
Um,
gallbladder.
if this is the master point in the body for connective tissue, it's kind of like getting you ready to stretch, getting you ready to really use those tendons and ligaments to cover some ground.
Mhm. So gallbladder 34, you're bilaterally on the lateral aspect of the knee. And there's this tender depression about an inch forward and an inch below the head of the fibula.
Yes, indeed.
Mhm. Now, on this card, I have sweet marjoram because, that's going to help unwind the fascia
Hey,
and relax the lower part of the body. But let's try laurel.
yeah. The points themselves are very willing to experience different oils. That's what they told me at least.
Yeah, no, yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. Which is part of so that's that, let's have a moment to talk about that. That's part of growing this body of knowledge that we have
Right.
about acuaromatherapy. And really, everybody who participates in this modality is a creator because
Hmm.
you're going to have your own experience. And it's important that we hear from you about that experience. So go to the Facebook page, AcuAromatherapy Enthusiasts, and post what you're feeling when you put these oils on these points and share with everybody because um, you are an agent for change and you're going to help grow this modality. So,
Yeah.
Joseph and I can't do it by ourselves. We wouldn't want to. That's why
It's
would
much
we?
funner with other people around.
Yeah, we don't want to hog all this information. We want to hear from you guys. So,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's what it's all about.
woo likes company. Okay.
It does. It even has parties, woo woo parties. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hmm. I think a really nice way to sort of finish out this is to take helichrysum and place it on a really special point, maybe CV17, so we can
Hmm. I'm with you.
energy of laurel and have it be simpatico with helichrysum, and let helichrysum take take this session today to a deeper level of healing for everyone. What do you think, Joseph?
I'm there.
Okay. With his Corsican helichrysum from David Crow. I'm just going to use my regular old helichrysum.
Just your regular old, yeah. See,
That's my regular old stuff. All right.
that old stuff. Oh my God.
CV17, sort of in the middle of the sternum, about nipple
Mm.
level. You'll find it. It's the place we just go to if we
Ah,
for our heart. Yes.
que lástima. Hmm.
Just settle into it. Let's put an intention that you'd like to put into this today, or maybe a little affirmation you can say to yourself to
Mm.
send this healing out to for the rest of the world through the cosmos to heal whatever needs to be healed for the world today,
Hmm.
whether it's within your sphere or your family or your community, your state, your country, your world. Let
Yeah.
that radiate out.
Mm. And then calm, open-hearted, softening the scars, healing the wounds.
Yes. Creating new tissues, a new cellular network, a web, if you will, of healing energy. I just sort of had this vision of all the mycelium under the crust of the earth, all connecting us, and that holds this earth together, it holds the microbes, it holds all the nutrients, all the secret sauce that we need, and that goes around the world. I grew some mushrooms, some blue oyster mushrooms from a little pack that I bought. You squirt the water on, and 2 weeks later, this 2-pound mushroom group, grows. So they suggested to take a laundry basket, that has holes in the sides, and take some straw and make a lasagna. You put a layer of straw down, you crumble some of the mycelium cube that they had, and then
Right.
you keep layering it up. Well, I walked through the yard yesterday and I had blue oyster mushrooms popping out the side of the laundry basket. So it created a new network in that straw
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the rain that we've had. And now we have some fresh mushrooms. So I thought that was so cool. And
Yeah.
and that's really how we all connect from our non-visible web of connectedness, energy, the energetic frequency of oils and our intentions that go into that. So, as usual, I am proud and happy to work with Joseph today and share
And
and have some
and I
magic.
with you, yes, very much so. I like to consider myself a fun guy, but
He's a fun guy, yes.
but we got into the mycorrhiza there. That was deep.
It was deep. So remember to leave that spring duff a little bit more in your gardens. We still have pollinators that are hibernating down in there, and uh, don't do too much cleanup just yet. I did trim my apple tree, but that was as far as I got.
What
So
was the word your dog had for like not getting out of bed? What was that again?
Herkle Durkle.
Just herkle jerkle the garden just a little bit more with the duff. Okay,
Yes,
don't
Herkle
get too
Durkle
busy.
in the garden. All right, all
Yeah.
right. So until next time,
Yes,
everybody
indeed.
share their own magic and wisdom in your own community. All
Yeah,
right. Let's
and
do Go
throw it
ahead.
on. Go to enthusiasts. Tell us what you want to talk about. Talk about it.
Yes,
Okay. Um,
absolutely.
inspire us. We'll inspire you back, and we'll keep conspiring and inspiring. Okay.
Yes, but especially the conspiring part.
Oh.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being with us today. Sending lots of love and energy out to all of you.
And
Find the magic.
Angela,
Yes.
we're gonna need a picture with that with a Laurel. Okay.
I'll do a screenshot. I will. I'll hold up my Laurel card, take a picture, and all
An
right.
illustrated guide to woo woo.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
going to end my
Until
recording.
next we meet.